Russia's military presence particularly has been growing now for years. My visit this week is about deterring the threat from Russia, just as it is about tackling the threat of climate change.
Yep. Good to see you again. Welcome to Tromsø. It's an honor to welcome you back to the High North. We are at the moment on board one of our Coast Guard vessels. We have at an average 11 or 12 of these on patrol at all times.
Our partnership here with Norway is crucial. Clearly, the direction of travel makes this region hotly contested. I'm here in Tromsø, which is the northernmost city in the Arctic. It's regarded as the gateway to the Arctic, really.
These ships typically spend between 300 and 320 days at sea in the High North. So the High North has always been important to the security of the whole alliance. This is one of the regions where Russia can move out and towards the west.
This area is hugely strategically important. As the ice caps melt, it opens up potentially new gateways.
Climate change is literally opening up the region. Suddenly you can do shipping in areas where you couldn't before.
We have around 4,000 missions every year. It's good that you see it, because this is what you actually find in the High North.
The UK has security interests in managing what comes from the Russian Arctic.
In the High North we have the Russian nuclear submarines.
This region is at the centre of NATO's security. This is NATO's northern flank.
The cooperation between Norway and UK is extremely strong. There is almost nothing we do without doing it together.
The work that we do here with Norway is absolutely key to NATO's security. Last year alone, we had 70 Royal Navy vessels working with the Royal Navy here in Norway, patrolling these waters, keeping these waters safe and keeping a focused eye on Russia. Russia's military presence particularly has been growing now for years. My visit this week is about deterring the threat from Russia, just as it is about tackling the threat of climate change.
Then we'll just have a look into the moraine field. We'll look into the area where the glacier used to be. This is one of the old mine working buildings, basically. The whole story is that Svalbard, covered 60% in ice, is shrinking. That ice is shrinking inexorably.
The concern is, from my point of view, looking at very long-term climate change, is that glaciers are very easy to lose. They're very hard to re-establish.
Losing ice on Svalbard is bad, but if you lost ice on Greenland, as we are losing ice, there's 7 metres of sea level rise locked up in Greenland. Are we going to get to a tipping point where actually bigger things begin to accelerate?
Look at that. Gorgeous. Quite large.
You've asked the most important question about glaciers. It takes a lot more time to grow back a glacier than it does to lose one. They are not easy to replace once lost.
What I saw today were glaciers melting away. All of that water raising sea levels. I have never ever in my life been so up close with climate change as it happens before your eyes. It's staggering and deeply, deeply worrying, but I'm hugely grateful to the UK and Norwegian scientists working together to help the world understand how to change this.
The climate is changing rapidly, the environment is changing rapidly, and it will have political consequences. Not only is it an environmental problem, but it's also a political problem.
The tensions that are affecting the rest of the world in Europe and beyond are being and will be seen in the Arctic. So we have to think of the Arctic in a global context now, because that's how other countries are also seeing it. You can see how much of the Arctic is Russian, how much kind of Canadian.
What happens here in the Arctic affects the whole planet. Clearly the climate emergency and glaciers and permafrost melting affects the planet. It's also an area where the great powers meet and where the UK's major allies and opponents meet. This is a hugely contested area, and that presents opportunities and tremendous challenges. I'm at KSAT on Svalbard here in the Arctic. This is the world's largest satellite ground station, and it allows the global community to track climate change on land, on sea, in the air. Svalbard is on the front line. Of course, the geopolitical threats on climate, but also what our opponents are up to. It's this satellite ground station that helps us see the movement of Russia's shadow fleet and ultimately helps us to thwart Putin's ability to fund his war.
Primary mission is on this launcher. We can take off, we can fly 1,200 miles.
Let's do that.
These are what we use to track the submarines in the water. When it hears something, it sends a signal back up to the plane. It says, I'm picking up a signal, and it gives us a basic direction. And then we go in and try to drop more of these to localize on that location.
I'm here at Keflavik NATO Air Base in Iceland, seeing for myself the work that NATO allies do, patrolling the Arctic, the high north, and the seas here. Iceland's extremely important geographically because of its position just a few hundred miles from Scotland and the Faroe Islands. So it's a key important area here in the Arctic region particularly, which allows, of course, our Navy, our RAF to work with partners to keep our skies and our sea and our land secure from threats that we see from Russia.